Hey everyone, welcome back. Today, we're going to explore Microsoft's .NET AI template, which was released back in March. It comes with two project types, AI Chat Web App and Local MCP Server Console App. In this video, we'll focus on the AI Chat Web App, install the template, check what's available, create a project in Visual Studio, and run it to see how it works. Before we jump in, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already. It really helps the channel grow. And if you haven't watched my previous AI video, I'll drop the link in the description below, so you can check that out after this one. Alright, let's get started. Let's install the .NET AI template. Open your terminal and run .NET New install Microsoft.Extensions.AI templates. This command installs the templates locally. Once it's done, you should now see two templates, AI Chat Web App and Local MCP Server Console App. Once installed, the template is available in Visual Studio Code, with the C# Dev Kit, or you can simply run .NET New AI Chat Web or .NET New MCP Server to create it directly in your working directory. For today's demo, we'll use the AI Chat Web App in Visual Studio. Let's switch to Visual Studio. In the Create a New Project screen, open the All Project Types drawdown. You'll now see a new category called AI. Select AI, and now you'll find two templates, AI Chat Web App and Local MCP Server Console App. Select the AI Chat Web App template and click Next. Then, give your project a name. Let's call it Chat App 1. Choose your location and click Create. After choosing your project name and location, you can select an AI model provider and vector store to get started. The AI service provider has a few options: Azure OpenAI, GitHub Models, Ollama, and the OpenAI platform. Here, we're using GitHub Models with a local vector store, which is the easiest way to get started with minimal setup. Click Create, and Visual Studio will scaffold everything you need: a Blazor-based chat interface, data folder, and service setup. Once the project is set up, we need to configure the GitHub token. In the README file, you'll find instructions like this: GitHub Models token, your token. This needs to be added inside your project's secrets.json file. So, I'll open secrets.json and paste my GitHub token into it, following the same JSON format shown in the README. If you don't know how to create a GitHub Models token, please watch my earlier video. I'll add the link in the description below. Okay, we've added the GitHub Models token. Let's take a quick look at what's generated. The Pages folder contains Blazor pages like chat.razor, the main chat interface. The Services folder has the logic that powers the conversation flow. Inside www.root/data folder, you'll see sample PDFs. These are used for data ingestion and search. When you run the app, it reads these PDFs, builds embeddings, and then the chat can answer questions based on that content. Next, I'll open the program.cs file and explain a bit about what's happening there. Here, you'll see the AI services and vector store being configured automatically. The GPT-4o mini model is used as the LLM, and text embedding 3 small is used for embeddings. For storage, SQLite is used as the vector database. All of this code is generated by Visual Studio for us, so you don't have to manually set up any of these components. There are also a few important classes that handle how the data flows inside the app. The Data Ingester class is responsible for reading and processing PDF files inside the www.root/data folder. It extracts the text content from each PDF, generates embeddings using the selected model, and then stores those embeddings in the SQLite vector database. This process basically turns your documents into searchable vector data that the AI can understand and refer to later. The Semantic Search class is what comes into play during chat. When a user types a question, it converts the prompt into an embedding, compares it with the stored document vectors, and retrieves the most relevant pieces of information. Those results are then passed back to the model, which forms a natural language answer, often including citations that show where the information came from. Together, these classes make the app smart enough to understand your documents and respond based on their content, rather than just guessing or generating random text. Alright, let's run the application and see it in action. Once the app starts, it will automatically ingest the sample PDF files located in the www.root/data folder and generate their embeddings. After that, your browser will open with a clean chat interface. Now you can see the Blazor chat app running with 2 sample PDF files already loaded. Here, you can start asking questions. For example, what's included in the survival kit? The app will process your question, run a semantic search in the vector database, and generate an answer based on the relevant document content. It even shows citations to tell you exactly which file and page the information came from. All of this happens automatically. No manual setup, no extra configuration. Pretty cool, right? Now that the chat app is up and running, let's see how we can make it respond to our own documents instead of just the sample ones. It's really simple. Go to the www.root/data folder inside your project. Here, you'll find the 2 default PDFs that come with the template. To use your own content, just drop your PDF file into this folder. For example, I'll take one of my articles, the one about EF core pagination, convert it into a PDF, and save it inside the www.root/data folder. Once added, rerun the application. The data ingester class will automatically detect your new file, read its contents, generate embeddings, and store them in the vector database. For example, since I've added my EF core pagination article, I can now ask, which pagination method is suitable for large datasets? And the chat app will respond using the content from my article, explaining that keyset pagination is generally more efficient than offset pagination for large datasets because it avoids scanning skip rows and performs faster on big tables. You can also see the citations right below the answer, showing exactly which file and page the information came from, in this case pointing to my EF core pagination PDF. Now that we've seen how the chat app works with our own data, let's look at how we can extend its behavior and make it even more powerful. This project is built using Microsoft.Extensions.AI, which makes it really easy to plug in custom C# functions that the chatbot can call. That means you can give your chatbot extra abilities, like fetching live data or performing specific actions when users ask certain questions. Let's look at a simple example. In the chat.razor file, we can define a new C# method, let's say a getWeather function, that returns some mock weather information. It's a very simple function. It just returns a weather condition like sunny, cloudy, or rainy based on the city name. Once we've defined this function, we just need to register it so the chatbot knows it can call it. Inside the onInitialized method, update the chat options, tools list like this. That's it. Now the chatbot has access to our getWeather method. Okay, let's run the application and see how it works now. Let's try asking something like, what's the weather in London? You'll see that the chatbot now calls our custom getWeather function behind the scenes and includes its result in the answer. You can see the chatbot response. The weather in London is drizzle. It's really cool to see that the chatbot can now call your C# functions directly, and this was just a simple example. You can extend this idea further to connect to real APIs, databases, or even IoT devices, depending on your scenario. And that's it. A complete walkthrough of the dotnet AI template in action. It's a powerful starting point if you're planning to build your own AI assistant, documentation bot, or any custom AI-powered web app using .NET. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the bell icon so you won't miss my upcoming videos, including one where I'll cover the local MCP server console app template. Thanks for watching, and as always, happy coding!